Hey, what's up guys, Jaeky here. Today we're going to be unboxing and reviewing the IQUNIX EZ60. This is another magnetic switch Hall effect keyboard. So huge shout out to IQUNIX for sending this out for review, but as always, that does not affect my opinion of it. So this keyboard comes in two different form factors. You can either choose the EZ60, which is just your typical 60% keyboard, or you can choose the EZ63, which is just the added arrow keys on the bottom right. Rather than a long shift key, you get some added arrow keys. This keyboard retails for $179 USD on the IQUNIX website. So the standout features of the IQUNIX EZ60 is the fact that it is a Hall effect keyboard, so you do get the adjustable actuation points as well as rapid trigger as you do with every other Hall effect keyboard. Another big selling point is the 8000 Hz polling rate. So if this is true 8000 Hz polling rate, you are getting faster and lower latency compared to traditional keyboards with 1000 Hz polling. Of course, I don't have the tools to test latency here, so I can't test whether or not this is true 8000 Hz polling rate, but I'm sure there will be other people who are able to test this keyboard and the polling rate. The EZ60 also offers an aluminum case as well as PBT keycaps, so you are getting a premium build quality with this keyboard. Currently, there is only one colorway available, which is this black and blue colorway, but they do say on their website that they plan to release more colors in the future. And on the screen now are all of the important specs of the keyboard. It is a gasket mount weighing in at 1000 grams or 1 kilogram with a typing angle of 6.5 degrees. Alright guys, with all of that out of the way, let's get into the unboxing of the EZ60. Opening up the box here, we get the keyboard itself right here in this little plastic bag. In the box here, you get actually a very premium feeling switch and keycap puller. This part here is actually completely metal, which makes it feel very nice and premium. This is actually one of the more premium switch and keycap pullers that I've gotten provided with a keyboard. So that is very nice. You also get some modifier keycaps here that you can switch out if you'd like. And this is a little cleaning brush, which I've never seen before provided with a keyboard. So you actually get a little cleaning brush that kind of slides out and you can use this to clean your keyboard. And then on top is a box with probably just your cable. Yeah, you get actually a coiled cable here. So you actually get a coiled cable and it's separated into two parts here. So that's actually very nice. You actually get a very premium cable here. So this just attaches onto here. It is USB-C obviously, and it is a coiled cable. So that's actually very nice that you get a premium cable there. Alright guys, here is the actual keyboard itself, and I gotta say it feels very nice and premium in the hand. The build quality feels very sturdy, of course, with that aluminum case. You have a bit of heft to it. It is, again, 1 kilogram. And yeah, it feels very nice. So I did get the EZ63 version. The box did say EZ60, but I remember now I did ask for the EZ63 layout because I wanted the arrow keys. So yeah, this is what the EZ63 looks like with the arrow keys. And you can sort of see the entire build here. The USB-C port is in the middle of the keyboard, and the case design is very unique as well. As you can see, there's the side of the case, and here is the bottom of the case. You do get 4 rubber feet on the keyboard as well. And yeah, very nice feeling board so far. Okay, one thing that I am noticing immediately when I put it on my desk here, this is something they can definitely fix in future batches, but this keyboard does not actually sit even on my desk. There's a bit of wobble, so it's a little bit unbalanced. I don't know if you can... Here, let me put my mic closer to it and you can kind of hear it. So you can see there that when I push on the corners, like the bottom left corner and the top right corner of the keyboard, it wobbles back and forth a little bit. This is probably an easy fix that I could do just by sticking like a thin layer of something underneath the feet. But yeah, this is just something to note. They can fix this obviously in production, so it might just be my unit that's like this. But that is something to be aware of. And yeah, let me get this keyboard plugged in really quick. Okay, so I have the board plugged in here. Immediately the RGB turns on just like that. So the switches inside of here are the Star Trail magnetic switch, and this is a partnership between IQUNIX and Gateron to develop their own magnetic switch. Here are all of the specs of this switch on the screen right now. Alright guys, now let's go over the software for the IQUNIX EZ keyboard. It is web-based software just like Wooting. You just go to this URL and connect to your keyboard, which I absolutely love. I love when peripheral companies use web-based software. It just makes it a lot more easy and you don't have to actually download any software onto your computer, which is a huge dub. So on the first tab here, obviously you can choose a bunch of different layers for your keyboard if you like to use multiple layers for different functions. I only use one layer on my keyboard, and inside of here, you can remap all of these keys to pretty much anything that you want. As you can see here, you can also do RGB effects as well as multimedia effects. Moving on to the second tab here, this is where you're going to change all of that customizable actuation point as well as the rapid trigger. So you can either select every key to customize, or you can select single keys just like you can on the Wooting. For example, if I wanted to set every key to 1mm actuation point, all I would do is I would just go here, select all of my keys, and then change it to 1mm, and then press this, which is in Chinese, which I'm pretty sure is confirm. And there we go. We can see all of the keys now are set to 1mm. This isn't translated yet, but I'm sure they'll translate like all of this Chinese to English in the future. One thing that is a little bit annoying is I wish I could just grab this slider and like drag it, but you can't really do that. You kind of have to click along on the slider like the way I'm doing right now. Like you can't just drag this little knob to whatever you want. So that's a little bit annoying, but I'm sure with future firmware updates and software updates, they will improve the software. Just a little bit of a quality of life issue here. Oh, something that's really cool here is on the second tab for recommended settings, they actually have presets that you can use. So you just you can do a one-click configuration and there's different presets, but I'm just going to set my own. Okay, so for example here, I like to play with my spacebar on 2mm actuation. So I would just click on it and then I set this to 2. And you can see here that it automatically updates. And then I like to play with my Windows key on 4mm so I don't accidentally hit it. And then you can see now it says 4. So that's pretty much how you change actuation for the per switch actuation. So yeah, that's very easy to do. Now let's check out the rapid trigger. So I'm just going to click over to the rapid trigger mode and I'm going to select every key here. Okay, so in rapid trigger mode, there seems to be a lot of settings here. So continuous rapid trigger, I'm going to turn this off. There's super rapid trigger. After enabling, always maintain a 0.05mm rapid stop based on the settings, stopping with a slight lift of the hand. This is interesting. I'm not really sure what this does, but I'm going to turn it on, I guess. There's also bottom out protection, which keeps your keyboard in the most stable operating state. So I guess we'll leave that on. As you can see, there's a bunch of different things we can change. There's a pre-actuation protection distance, actuation distance, a reset distance, and a bottom out protection distance. So I'm not really sure what the best settings here are for this. I'm just going to put everything on the lowest and see what happens. Okay, so that's the customizable actuation and rapid trigger page. Now let's move on to the lighting effects. Lighting modes, looks like you have a lot of different effects that you can choose from. I'm just going to turn it off because I don't like RGB on my keyboard. But you can see we can change the brightness, speed, and color of the effects as well. So if you're in RGB, there's a lot of different effects you can do here. I'm just going to turn it off. And then the final page here is for professional presets. Looks like so far they only have loud tweeze on here. So yeah, I guess as more pros use this keyboard, if any pros share their presets, you can find them all on this page. But yeah, I'm sure there will be software updates to kind of clean up the UI and translate all of this Chinese to English and whatnot in the future. But so far, I mean, it does everything that you would want it to do. But yeah, let's talk about the performance here. I'm just going to do the little notepad test that I do with most rapid trigger keyboards, and then we'll hop into Valorant in the range, and I'll give my opinion there as well. But basically what I do here is I just test the key, the rapid trigger. I lift off of the key here just slightly and see if it stops completely, which it does. So with the IQUNIX EZ keyboard, as soon as I lift off, I have, again, the rapid trigger set to the lowest possible. As soon as I lift off of the key, it stops registering. There's no dead zoning like there was on some of the other rapid trigger keyboards that I've reviewed in the past, where when I lift off slightly, even though I have it set to the most sensitive, it won't actually stop. There doesn't seem to be that issue at all with the IQUNIX EZ keyboard. As soon as I lift my finger off, the keyboard stops registering the key instantly. Same thing with the customizable actuation point. So feathering the key here works as intended on 1mm, and if I set it any higher, like 4.0mm, I do have to push the key down a considerable amount before it actuates. So the Hall effect on this keyboard seems to work very well. Alright guys, and as expected in the range on Valorant, I really don't notice any difference between the IQUNIX EZ keyboard and the EZ60 HE. In terms of performance, just as snappy. As soon as I let go of the key, my character in-game stops moving, and if I feather the key as well with that 1.0mm actuation, it works just as it does on my Wooting. So I really didn't expect to see any difference here in terms of performance. And yeah, the IQUNIX keyboard seems super solid in terms of performance. Alright guys, now we're going to do a sound test of this keyboard so that you guys can get an idea of how it sounds. Alright guys, and coming out of that typing test, I really did notice it wobbling a lot when I was typing on the board, but like I said, that's probably something they can fix in future batches. I'm not sure if it's only my unit that's doing that, but yeah, a little bit annoying. Anyways, for my final thoughts on the IQUNIX EZ keyboard, it is a very nice Hall effect keyboard with a premium build, and the sound is decent as well. The software definitely could use improvement. It's definitely nowhere near the level of the Wooting software, for example, but it is definitely still very early days, so it can be improved in the future and probably will be improved in the future. As for the Hall effect performance of the board, such as rapid trigger and customizable actuation points, I really have no complaints about that. It performs pretty much on the same level as my EZ60 HE. There's no dead zoning, and the rapid trigger and customizable actuation point seems to work as intended. So that's pretty much it guys, that's my review of the IQUNIX EZ keyboard. If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure you leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.